everyone to our club contest training. My name is Sara Mayer. I am your chief judge for this year, and I'm very excited to be here with Edna Saki, who is our co-contest manager. So I think Edna waved, so everyone will be able to remember our faces. We also have another co-contest manager, Jill Kipnis, who is not able to be with us today, but she is here in spirit. So today we're going to jump into contest season for the clubs. This session is specifically geared towards the clubs. So let's jump in. And I always love to ask the question, and you will hear this at a lot of contests, are you ready for a contest? And we really hope you are. So let's do a really quick overview of the contest season before we specifically talk about the club contest. So the contest season is upon us right now. Club contests are able to start in December, and you can hold your contest all the way up until your particular area contest. So for some of you, that may be your area contest starts in January, so you will have until January to get that done. For some of you, you may have a little bit longer time, depending on the area you're in. And then in April, we will have all our division contests, and May 20th and 21st, we'll have our district contest. All of our contests are on the District 3 calendar, which don't worry, if you don't know how to get to that, we will show you where to find all the resources, the calendar, and everything like that later on tonight. Big news, our contest this season will be virtual at the area, division, and district level. Now, clubs, they can hold their contests in person or virtual. I would highly suggest that you hold your contest virtually so that your contestants are learning how to have a contest and learning how to compete in a virtual environment. However, that is totally up to you. We do have 2 contests this year. We have table topics and the traditional international speech contest. So those are the 2 types of competitions we will be hosting this season. All right, let's jump into club contests. So this is what we're going to cover today. You are going to make a key decision in your club. Are you going to hold a contest, or are you going to appoint somebody? And we're going to talk about that process today. We'll talk a little bit about the club's role in holding a contest, if you choose to do that, the functionaries needed, the flow of the contest, some resources that you will need, and then it'll be time for you to make your decision on if you are going to hold a contest or if you're going to appoint some representatives. And then the forms required, as well as we'll share some links to additional training or tell you when those are coming out, because we know we can't cover everything in this evening, and you will have a ton of questions as well. That's our agenda for tonight. We will cover most of this within 45 minutes, I'm hoping, and then we'll be able to jump into some questions and answers. So the first big decision you need to make as a club or officer team is, are you going to hold a contest? And we hope you are, but you also have the other opportunity to just appoint a representative to represent your club in either or both of the contests. So you do have 2 options as a club. You're not required to hold a club contest, although we do encourage you to do so. And we'll talk more about that. If you do decide to hold a contest, this is really your role as officers and leaders in putting on the speech contest. The first thing is we really want the contest to be fun. This is for your members to stretch, to learn, to grow, and to really, put themselves out there to a different audience. We all know that sometimes club members get really comfortable around each other. And the contest is a great, fun way for them to stretch their learning and really maybe up their game on their speeches a little bit. We also want to make sure that you are putting on not only a fun contest, but a fair contest, because we want to make sure that all the rules are followed, but that everything is fair and exciting. We also love for you to create some excitement for our members. Many of our members have never been to a speech contest. In fact, you may be on this call today and you're like, I've never been to a speech contest, so you don't even know what that's about. But speech contests are exciting. They're a great time, whether members win or move on or not. So it's a great way to create some excitement for your members and encourage them to really move up in their learning and growth. You are required to confirm eligibility. So we need to make sure that our contestants are eligible and our judges are eligible to judge. And that's really the role of the officers or the contest chair, whomever is going to be the one putting the contest on for the club. I know you guys are probably looking at this bullet, collect documents, and you're like, yes, I'm so excited about this. I know it's kind of a drag, but we do need to collect documents in order for your contestants to move from the club level to the area level. And that's really, really important. And it's especially important so that we can give those contestants a fair shot, and the areas and the divisions and the district, as they move on, if they were to move on, can communicate with them. You may have a winner, but if we don't know you have a winner, we can't help prepare them for the next level. If you are going to conduct a contest, then it is your role to actually facilitate and conduct that contest by the rule book. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then we would love for you to support our area, division, and district contests. The more excitement we can get at the second round and the third round, the more fun contest season is. So that's really your role in a contest. And I know there will be questions. People will have some questions. That's kind of an overview of the contest season. So let's talk a little bit about if you decide to have a contest. How many people do you need? What's all involved with that? So I'm going to give you the rule book list because we always are going to refer back to the rule book. So the rule book states that if you're going to hold a contest, you need a contest chair, and that could be the president, it could be an officer, it could be somebody who volunteers to be the chair. Sometimes it's the vice president of education, but you really need a chair. You do need a chief judge, somebody who is going to brief the judges. They are not actually a judge, but they are like kind of the facilitator for the judges, if you will. And you need at least 5 voting judges and then 1 tie-breaking judge. And that tie-breaking judge is only known to the chief judge, but they break a tie. 2 ballot counters and 2 timers. And so everyone's like, whoa, that's 12 people. Some of our clubs don't even have 12 members. So there is this little statement in the rule book that says, unless impractical. And if you have less than 12 members, that's probably impractical to have that many people. So you would need to divvy up roles or find judges from other places and get creative so that you can put on the most fair contest that you are able to do at the club level. The most fair contest you are able to do at the club level. So just know that if you were to put on a club contest, it would be 12 people that you would need, plus the... All right, sorry guys, my dog was going bananas. All right, so it is the most fair contest that you want to put on. These are the roles. Please know that there are many, 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 many people in the district who are willing to help you as a club to be able to provide a fair contest. And you want to be able to put that on and do the best you can. We are going to walk through how to get volunteers for this contest and all the nuances that are involved with these functionary roles when we get into the rules. So just know this is the full picture of what you're looking for as far as putting on a club contest. All right, now I know that many of you have probably never been to a contest. And you're like, well, what happens at a contest? Now, I will tell you, and I'm going to admit, I went to a whole training on contests, and they were talking about all this stuff and all these things, and we got all the way down to the end, and I didn't realize that not everybody had a vote. I thought that everyone in the audience got a vote. So I want to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as how the flow of a contest will go. Now, at the club level, it's not nearly or doesn't need to be as formal as at the area, division, or district level. Remember, you're going to do the best you can to provide a fair contest. This is the flow. So you'll get to your contest, you'll set up the room. Now, it may be a virtual room if you decide to do it virtually, which I highly suggest, we all highly suggest, since they will be competing virtually as they progress. And you'll want to prepare that Zoom room and get it all set. So if the contest is going to start at 9 o'clock, the person who is chairing or the Zoom lead probably can't get on the Zoom at 9 o'clock. So they're going to need to get in very early. I suggest probably 45 minutes to an hour before the contest. And then what will happen is the contest chair will brief the contestants. So they're going to tell the contestants everything that's going to happen during the contest. And the contest chair's real responsibility is to make sure the contestants are prepared to speak. They are there to speak, which is very important, and to ease their nerves a little bit. Even though they're competing at your club, the contestants will be nervous. So we want to make sure that that chair briefs the contestants and gets them all squared away. And they will do that in a breakout room. So they'll pull them into a little Zoom room on the side, or you can hold a separate meeting for them prior to brief them. The chief judge will brief the functionaries. So they're going to talk to the timer, the other judges, the ballot counters, to make sure that they know what their role is for the day. And that usually happens about a half hour prior to the contest. So if you're having a contest at 9 and you want it to start at 9, you'll need to work backwards to see, all right, what time do we need to get into our Zoom room, if you will. And then the contest chair will call the contest to order. And that's really, when you're calling a meeting to order, you bang the gavel, the same type of thing. That's when the contest starts. I always like to start by thanking the volunteers. If you are going to record it, there is a recording statement that you'll want to read, and we'll go over that as well in the rules. You don't need to record it, but if you are, there is a statement that you'll read. And then there's some housekeeping reminders, maybe it's, everybody's muted or anything like that. This is how the judges are going to judge the ballots. So just housekeeping for the group. If there are any dignitaries in the room or on your club and they're not speaking, this would be the time to maybe announce that they're there. Sometimes our area directors will pop into the contest, or you may have somebody else. Again, less formal than the area contest, but nice thing to do is make sure that everybody is recognized, especially if you have guests. And then the chair will ask, are we ready for a contest? And that's really the signal to the chief judge to acknowledge that all the judges are there, all the contestants are there, and we are good to go before they jump in. And then the contestants will be asked to acknowledge that they're there, and the speaking order will be announced. Hopefully, if you're putting on a club contest, you'll have more than one speaker. But even if you don't, there is a benefit to having a contest, and that'll be announced. So if Susie's speaking first and Bob's speaking second, that will be the order. And then after the contestants speak, they'll go in order. There's a minute of silence between each of the speeches so that the judges can mark their ballots. And so that's something that just know if you're running the contest, that's the time for the judges to be able to do that. When all the speeches are finished, there is silence for the judges until all the ballots are collected. And remember, it's 5 judges and 1 tiebreaker. And so it's a little awkward, but with Zoom, you can toss the judges in a breakout room. And once they're in a breakout room, you can, do some announcements or interview the contestants. You don't have to do this part with the contestant interviews or the announcements, but there's really nothing to do. So some clubs will do club announcements or talk about the area contest that's coming up, or they may ask their contestants different things that maybe they wouldn't know about the contestants if they're not competing in the next contest. And then once you get confirmation from the chief judge that all the ballots are in and they have a winner, if you have 3 or 4 or 5 people competing, you would announce the winners in reverse order. So 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and cheer and clap. And some clubs will have like certificates or medals or trophies or just claps, whatever. But that's really the celebration for the winners. And then the contest will be adjourned for that contest. If you did the international speech contest first, and then you're holding table topics, or you did table topics first, and then you're doing international, then you would go back and repeat all the steps from call to order. You don't need to rebrief everybody, but you do need to reconfirm that everybody's back. Some clubs will do a break, and then you go back through the same steps and announce the winner. And then, of course, you have cleanup, or what I would say in the Zoom room, thank yous to people and closing remarks. And so for some of you, this is like, oh, that's a lot of work, and then we're done. And the answer is no. So the biggest thing that you need to do after the contest is you need to notify the next contest, which for clubs would be the area, who won the contest. And there's a form and you submit that on. So that's a very important step. A lot of people leave the contest and then it goes days and then weeks. And so we don't really know who won. So that's super important for the contest flow. All right, so hopefully we're all on the same page. If you haven't been to a speech contest, that's the basic flow of the day. Now, depending on how many people you have competing really determines the length of both contests. All right, I want to talk a little bit about resources, because many of the resources that are out there, they are created by other districts, by Toastmasters, and all these things. You can do a simple Google search to see that there are hundreds of resources. And I am going to encourage you to use the 2 links that we are sharing on this training, because those 2 links are the most official resources we have. Now, some people have created documents and PowerPoints and all these things, and they've pulled things out of the rule book, but they haven't included the whole section, or the rules have changed. So I'm just telling you, best advice, use these 2 resources that we have compiled. If there is something that you need and you're like, we don't have it on here, let us know. We'll happily create it. But your rule book is going to be your best friend. So I am going to see if I can jump into the 2 resources. I'm going to share a screenshot so you will see the 2 resources. And then this is where it gets a little weird, but I'm going to go on my computer and actually go live on those pages so you can see from the navigation how we're getting there. So the first resource is Toastmasters International. They are the ones who put out all the speech contest materials. They update the rule book. They update the manuals. They update all these things. And that's really where you want to go to as a first stop. So you'll see here on the screen, it has the rule book. There are a ton of FAQs on this page. When you click on these, they open up onto new pages. there's a whole resource on how to put on online speech contests, region final, quarterfinals. There's some speech contest tutorials. And then, of course, there's resources on the World Championship of Public Speaking. Below this, which I will show you live, it has all the toolkit. So if you're like, ooh, what forms do I need? Oh, how does the international speech contest work? How does table topics work? How does it? Don't worry, we're going to jump into those resources. But I will show you how to get there so that you can navigate to this spot. You can even maybe do it on your phone or on your computer in the background as well. This is resource number 1. This is gold. Everything in here is updated by Toastmasters International. And if it's not, at least you got it off the Toastmasters International website. So you know you're probably 99% golden. The second resource that we have is the District 3 website. So the District 3 website, we are loading materials and resources for you. And I will tell you that we have scrubbed a lot of the stuff because some of the stuff was pointing to parts of rules. So we are always going to refer you to the rulebook. But just so you know, when you jump on this site, you're going to have an overview of the speech contest. You will know that the 2 contests we're having, the calendar is right there. And then we will have a link to a PDF of the calendar with all the Zoom links for those contests. So as soon as we get those Zooms built, you'll have a link to that. And then we broke that page up into kind of categories. So for contestants, for judges, for functionaries, and we'll jump into that as well. So just so you know, you don't have to create pretty much anything. You can really use the resources that are out there. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second, and then I'm going to jump on to actually the live websites to show you all the resources and tools that you have as a club. And of course you have us as well to help you as well. So hold on 1 sec, let me jump in. All right, so this is the website, Toastmasters International, and you can see that I am not logged in. So anybody who needs resources or anything like that, doesn't know how to log in, whatever, they can access these resources. So this is not something that's hidden behind a login. Anybody who can access a website should be able to get to where they need to go for resources. So when you get to the Toastmasters International website, which is toastmasters.org, you will go to, and I believe it's under resources. Yes, so you'll go to resources. This little tab here will open up. And then there will be the resources right here, speech contests. This should look very similar to the slide that I showed you. The resources are pretty much displayed in the same order because I grabbed the screenshot from here. The rulebook is right here. When you click on it, it'll open in a new tab. You can select your language down here, and I just select English and then go. And that is actually the rule book. So I would highly encourage you to download that. We're going to talk about the rules at the end. I highlighted all over it, so I'll show you some tips in the rule book as well. That's the best resource that you can give anyone, the rule book. The second one is the FAQs. You can see here there are many questions that are already answered. So if you have a question, I would check here first, simply because the answer might already be here. We may refer you to that page as well, so just know that. The online speech contest has a ton of resources of how to facilitate online, and we will also provide some resources as well. There are some great resources on here for contestants, and I would encourage you to share those with your club members who are competing. Many people have figured out Zoom, but they haven't competed in a speech contest on Zoom. So this is a new territory. So just know that there are resources out there, and there are some videos of people competing and best practices. So that's a great one. And then what's really cool is when you scroll down here, you can see that there are speech contest resources. There is one for international and one for table topics. Those are our two speech contests this season. And when you click on these, I have it open to another window because it's easier for me, but it will open. And then you can click download. And this will actually download everything you need for the international speech contest. So if you want to download that today, there it is. You can also do this for table topics. So when you click it, it'll download. For me, it's going to open over here in a zip file. And you can see here that every document that you need is here. There's certificates, speakers eligibility forms, anything like that. So if you're looking for anything official, this is where you'll get that kit for both international and table topics. So just know that. There's a notification of winners. I'm going to talk about that form about 10 times, but this form is the form that you would send to your area director. So you can go ahead and download that right now, whenever you want, and take a look. We will reference some of these forms as well. If I go back to their website, you'll see there's some quick links as well. So if you want to read the changes in the rule book, it's there. All the stuff really is here. So you will want to download table topics and international. Both of those have a manual on how to conduct those contests. So just know that. All right, that's the international website and the resources. So definitely check those out if you're considering hosting a speech contest. We will dive into the rest as well. Table topics, I just saw a chat and comment in there. It's the same thing. It does have different items. So just know that if you're looking for table topics, I'll see if I can open it. There we go. It still has the same certificates and everything like that, but it's going to have a different judge's guide. It's going to have different ballots. So you do need to download both, and your judges need to have different ballots for those. So just know that. All right, but some of the documents to the question are similar, but definitely want to make sure you download it both. All right, good question. And I have some other questions I'll get back to you during the presentation. All right, the next resource is the District 3 website. Also, you do not need to log in, so everybody should be able to navigate to this page. It's not a secret. And when you get to the District 3 page, you can get to it by just putting a slash and then contest. But I always like to show people how to get to that. So if you go under members resources and then contest, you'll see that it'll pop right up. And it's the same thing. That's the URL if you want to grab that as well. And so to give you an overview of what's here for you as club contest hosts, you have the 2 speech contests, you have the speech calendar, and you can see here when you fast forward, so you can see here if you're in Agave or Mesquite, when your area contest is. So it's really important to know which area your club is in, because that'll determine when you need to have your contest by. So if you're not sure, because this I had come up already, how do we know which area we're in? You can actually take a look on the district site. It has the division and area directors under leadership, district leaders. And I'm going to just pop over there because I already had this question. And you can see like this is area 1 for Agave, and you can see which clubs fall under which areas. So if you're not sure, that's okay. Look it up. And then that way you'll be able to know when you need to have your club contest completed by. All right, so back to member resources contests. All right, we're back. All right, so the contest calendar, we will be adding a PDF, as I mentioned, that'll have all the dates by area, division, and it'll have all the Zoom links. So we are working on, I think we have a couple more to set up. And once we get all those Zoom set up, that PDF will be uploaded. Also on this page, we have a link. If you are interested, we have already had a couple people ask, how do we volunteer? And I'm so excited that you asked that question. So we do have a link for where to volunteer. If you want to volunteer, we are sharing those with clubs. And then we have some resources for functionaries, chairs, and volunteers, contestants, contest chairs, etc. These are the kits that I already showed you. They link back to those original ones. And then this is the contest timing. So when you click on additional resources for any of these, if you were to click on contest chairs, it will open up into a Dropbox. And you will see there are several folders. Now, when you get here, you can pick which folder you want to be in, but all of those are filled with resources for you. So just so you know, those are the resources that are available for everyone. And we're going to talk about rules now, because I already see some questions about rules. And remember, the club contests are supposed to be fun and fair. So I will tell you, as we're going to jump into this, that there is a rule book, which you, on both of those websites that I just shared, you will be able to download this rule book. All right, so this is the rule book. This is what I would call Sunday reading. Print it out, highlight it. This is the PDF version that I have highlighted, and the way that I have highlighted it, I've color coded it. So anything that I've color coded red belongs to the club. Anything that's yellow really belongs to everyone. The rule book, I've already had a question like, how is it laid out? It really covers two main things: eligibility for judges and contestants, and then the different contest rules. So just know that in between what you're looking for, there are going to be rules about contests that are further along or higher up. So I've just highlighted some things just so you know and can be aware of. So for anybody to compete at a Toastmasters speech contest, they must be a paid member of the club, the area, division, and so on that they are competing in. So you can't have somebody who's a non-member compete in a speech contest. And the club must be in good standing. So just know that your club needs to be in good standing when they're competing. Any new member or reinstated member must have dues and membership application current with World Headquarters. So what does that mean? If you have a member who you have their application form in, but they haven't been put in, or the treasurer hasn't paid the money, that's really important that they need to be current with World Headquarters. So you're responsible for checking eligibility. All right. And they must maintain eligibility throughout all levels of the contest. So this comes into play when we have dues renewal around March, April time, and your person may have won and they're moving on. We need to make sure that their payments are made by the treasurer, because they have to remain current with World Headquarters. So just know that. If you have questions about eligibility, don't worry, we have a training on that as well that will be coming out. So I'm going to give you the highlight and we'll go from there. So to compete in the table topics, that's the only requirement. So every single person in your club who has paid and is a member is eligible to compete in table topics. Every single person, unless they're serving as a functionary, but they're eligible. And we really want so many people to participate in the speech contest, because it's really cool that somebody can compete and be a brand new member. Now, for the international contest, the member must have completed 6 speech projects in the Competent Communication Manual or earned a level 1 and 2 in the Toastmasters Pathways experience. So for some of you who are newer clubs, you may not have very many people that are eligible for this, but they need to have completed levels 1 and 2 in Pathways. Now, if you have somebody who joined prior to Pathways, they are able to use the Competent Communication Manual. If they joined after Pathways was rolled out, it must be in Pathways. There are a few other stipulations, so just read that when somebody mentions that they want to compete. Now, here's the big kicker. These are the people who are ineligible. All right. There's a long list. So anybody who serves in these roles, like the district director, program quality director, club growth, administration manager, finance manager, public relations, division director, area director, they're ineligible. So you can see that there are several people that may be in your clubs that are ineligible. And you can check the district leader website for these positions to see if you have anybody serving in those. Most of the time they're going to know they're ineligible, but just check. All right, so let's talk about judges. It jumps around a little bit. So judges, all members who are serving as an official or presenter role must meet these qualifications. So the voting judge, tie-breaking chief judge, at the same contest type in which they would be competing beyond the club level in any district. So if you have somebody who is going to serve as a judge, they can't serve as a judge if they're going to be competing in table topics or international beyond the club level. So they can judge there, but they can't judge beyond that, because it wouldn't be fair if they're moving up and also judging other people who are competing in the same thing. Same thing with the timer, sergeant at arms, or other contest official role for the same contest in which they'd be competing. So I can time table topics if I'm only competing in international. And that's just to make it fair. There's a couple other things in here, so just check that. For Toastmasters who are in more than one club, I know we have a bunch of those, who meet all the eligibility requirements, they are permitted to compete in the club contest, in all of them. So if you're in 4 clubs, you can compete in 4 club contests. But if they compete in 4 club contests and they win all 4, when they move on to the area, if all those clubs are in different areas, they need to pick one area. So just know that. If your person wins, the area director will take care of verifying that, but they can compete in 4 club contests, but they cannot move it into 4 area contests. All right. And then here are the judges' qualifications. To be a chief judge, voting judge, tie-breaking judge, they must meet all of these requirements identified below. At a club contest, which is what you're concerned with, they must be a paid member. That's it. At a club contest, the judge, chief judge, voting judge, tie-breaking judge must be a paid member. So anybody can judge at your club contest that is a paid member. And that's it. You don't need to worry about beyond that. And the other thing is everybody must be physically present at the contest for which they're serving. So people are like, what do you mean? What does that mean if we're doing it virtually? It means that a contestant cannot mail in a video, send in a video. I guess they wouldn't mail it, but they can't send in a video and say, all right, that's my speech. No, they must be present at the time of the contest. All right. And then all other contestant officials must be paid members as well. So you can't have somebody be the timer who's not paid, so just so you know. Those are the key eligibility rules. Again, this is Sunday reading, so please take a look and make sure that you've checked everything. I've given you the highlights. And here is where it comes to the decision for you. So in the red, each club in good standing is permitted to either choose its contestant for each area speech contest by whatever means the club desires. You could put names in a hat. You could say, hey, you should be the person. You could take a vote. It doesn't matter. It says by whatever means the club desires. So if you don't want to hold a speech contest, but you have people who want to compete or you want to encourage people to compete, you can choose them. If you hold a club contest, you must comply with the rules in the rule book. So Sunday reading, and the contest result is official. So if Jane wins the contest and you're like, oh, we don't really like Jane, we're going to put Bob on here. No, whatever is decided using the contest rules by the judges is final. So just so you know. All right. If your club winner is not able to move up to the area, they may have a conflict. It's really important that you put first and second place, even if you're appointing people, because if the first place can't compete, then we'll move on to the second in the next one. All right, here we go. So we're going to talk a little bit about table topics very quickly in a minute. And there is a section in the rule book on table topics. So just know if you're like, I've never seen the table topic speech. And we will also have an additional training, because if not, we would be here for 7 hours. This is the rule where it says the functionaries that you need, and it also states unless impractical. So just know if it's not practical, it's not practical. Some clubs don't even have 12 members. So there you go. All right. And then all voting judges must remain anonymous when practical. So for some of you holding club contests, I mean, people are going to know who the judges are because it's smaller and more intimate. So just know that's okay. All right, everybody has to be briefed. You'll see that in the schedule we put. A lot of this is about the briefing. And then I'm going to go down here really quick to show you. The timing has a whole section. We have a whole section on timing, and there will be a training on that as well. And then this is the International Speech Contest rule. So take a look at that. It breaks it down into cameras, and this is really great for your contestants to also read as well. And then there is a section on table topics. So this is how the table topics will be run, and we will have a Zoom on that. So don't worry about that. All right. So I know I went over a lot of information, and please know this is not your only training. This training is really designed to get you as a club officer or a club member to say, I want to hold a club contest, or I want to compete, and to give you the toolkit to be able to navigate that. We will have additional trainings that are bite-sized, not hour-long, where you can grab and go. You can binge watch them, 10 to 15 minutes, that have more information as well. And then, of course, we are always here as a resource. So just know this 1 hour training isn't like we're one and done. But you really have a decision as a club right now, and that's, are we going to hold a contest? And if so, picking the date for that and moving forward, or are we going to encourage people to compete and just appoint somebody? And I hope there is a third decision, and that's not participate in contest season. I really hope, we all really hope you don't choose that option. Club contests are a great way to give our members opportunities to learn, stretch, and grow. And we really want to encourage every single club out there to at least participate in table topics, because every member is eligible for that. So should you choose to participate in contest season, there is one form that we need, like we need it as soon as you have decided. It's this notification of contest winner form. And when you decide either to hold the contest or appoint somebody, this is the form you will forward to your area director. So that's how your area director will know who's competing. And I've received some of these, and I will tell you the email address wasn't complete, the phone number I couldn't read. It's really hard to get in touch with people. So please make sure that you have the correct information on the form, because that's what we're going to use to verify our contestants. This form is in that toolkit you will download, international or table topics. You'll have 2 forms, so one for each contest type. So just know that, okay? All right, if you're interested in being a judge, a functionary, or a volunteer to learn more about those roles as well, we are putting together a database because what I have heard from area directors is it's really hard to find people, but there are so many people out there that are willing to help with your contests. And so we have a form. If anybody's interested in being the judge, tiebreaker, chief judge, there's one form. If you want to be a volunteer, there's another form as well. And we will pass that information on to the clubs and the areas that are looking for volunteers. Those links are on the District 3 website, but I'll also drop them in the chat in a minute so that you can see those. And if you're eligible, we'd love to have you volunteer. And we need a lot of people to pull off contest season. All right, so here are the future trainings because I can't cover everything in an hour and I want to get to your Q&A. So we will have a training for Zoom leads. You will notice this Zoom room is set up very differently than maybe other Zooms you've been on or anything like that. So we'll have a Zoom lead training where we can teach people how to set up the rooms if you're going to do them virtually. We will also have 2 trainings on briefings. It will be very short. Mock briefing, give you what you need to know in order to brief contestants and to brief judges. And then we'll have a mini training, a little Loom video on how to confirm eligibility so that you know how to do that. And please know if you're ever concerned about if somebody's eligible, just ask. We will be happy to help. And then we will have a document training, how to fill out the documents with some samples so that you will have that. The judges training is already live on our website and on YouTube. So if you're interested in being a judge, that's already out there. You can certainly do that right away. All right, so that is all I have. Hold on one second. I want to thank you all so much. I know that you have a million other things you can do on a Wednesday evening, but we really hope that you participate in contest season. And it's a fun season and we're excited for the contests to go off without a hitch this year.